See, I now want to do the Nosferatu voice because it's the most fun voice to do, but you were doing it in a questionable accent earlier.
I was
And
trying my best.
I'm now scared that if I do it, it's just going to come out. It's going to come out racist.
No, I can do it. We've put...
No, that was Italian. We've put
Nicholas Holt.
No. We can't.
I am so evil.
That is so bad.
What?
It's like when we were at that party and you thought you could do a better clown horn than me. That's so shit.
Go on, you do yours. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Better than hanker hanker. In fact, my making fun of yours was better than your actual go. That was alright. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good.
Go on, do your Nosferatu then.
Well, you've replaced my memory of Nosferatu in the film with my just memory of you doing the voice.
Maybe because I got a better voice. Maybe I should have been Nosferatu.
How are you, Luke, today? Welcome to our podcast recording.
Oh, that was very good.
Thank you. I'm going to say that was a 7.5 out of 10.
Well, I was spooked.
You was.
I felt like Nosferatu was in the room, ready to drink my breast.
Ready to. Yeah, it is sort of heading in a breastal direction.
Yeah, they changed up vampires again.
Yeah, well, you got to change it up a little bit. Anyway, you can
Let's
hear
get
more
to
of
that
that
later.
More of that chat later on. But what have we done? Anything else this week, Luke?
I can't remember.
Should we start talking about films immediately?
Yes, this is what this podcast's about.
Okay, what have you watched?
I tried so hard.
You tried so hard.
I tried so hard to watch the original Nosferatu.
1922's Nosferatu. Yeah.
I got 15 minutes in and then watched something else.
I want to know what was going through your head in watching the first 15 minutes of Nosferatu. Do you think it's just, are you just too like ADHD brained? You just couldn't put up with.
Yeah, I've never seen a silent movie before.
Right.
But that requires concentration.
Okay.
And I watched it at the end of a very long day.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have the headspace for it. But I am going to watch it.
So that's 1 star for 1922.
No. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say I'm bad. I haven't watched it.
How often do you feel like that when you watch a movie and you don't enjoy it, and so you just go, I'm stupid, instead of thinking the film was bad, thinking that you're bad?
I think that's my general reaction to something.
Right.
If I don't enjoy it, I'm like, I'm too thick to get it. What's the secret to it?
Okay, I used to think that. And then I'm going to say about 5 years ago, I just stopped thinking that entirely. And I was like, if they have failed to communicate what I should care about in this film, then the film is a failure and they suck. And if your film is not interesting unless I decipher the code of what it's about, then it's a shit film. Because you can make a film that is like nice to watch even if you're thick, and then have some secrets for the clever people. But if all the film is secrets for clever people, then fuck you. Does that make sense?
I don't think Nosferatu 1922 is that.
Nosferatu is secrets for clever people.
Because it's so old. It's like they're trying their best.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing to watch, like, given the limitations. I was like, this is pretty impressive to be telling a story.
But also, like...
But I'm also like, now we don't have the limitations. So I'm like, we can watch this a bit better.
Yeah.
Because it's really distracting when it's just people doing stuff on screen and then you have to read what's going on. And the acting has to be so over the top because they're trying to communicate. It's like it feels like when you're playing charades.
Right, okay. It's because there's only about 12 pixels on the screen.
Yeah, they can only shoot from one angle.
Okay, yeah.
And it's so jerky. I cannot tell. I've never noticed like quality of recording before until I watched that, and I was like, "This is like 28 frames a second." It's so jerky. The way they move.
With like old silent films like that, they could only record for like 10 seconds at a time. So like every 10 seconds, there's like a jump.
Yeah.
Even if there's not a cut. When you watch sort of like old Laurel and Hardy's and stuff like that.
It feels like watching claymation. You know, it's stop motion, but with real people. It's very distracting.
Yeah. So basically, our official opinion on the podcast is the olden days really needs to pick up their game.
Yeah, I think so. No color? Really?
Having said that, Nosferatu that we watched this week has basically no color.
This is true.
Not
What?
Nosferatu.
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
Very good. But it looks so. I thought it looked so good.
The new Nosferatu. We're not talking about that yet. We can't talk about it.
Sorry.
You watched 1922 Nosferatu. Failed at that and watched Near Dark instead.
I watched
you said
Near Dark. Do you know what Near Dark is?
no. I know the GameCube game Perfect Dark.
It's got nothing to do with
Okay.
that. Near Dark. I thought I should watch another vampire movie.
Okay.
Near Dark is one of my favorite vampire movies.
What year is it from?
1987, I think.
Nice. It's probably something like that.
Yeah. But get this.
Yeah.
Premise. It's a neo-Western vampire movie.
Neo-Western vampire movie. I mean,
Yes.
you're going like that, but that is
It's a cowboy vampire movie, but they're all hillbillies.
okay. I would be
Hillbilly vampires.
really excited by that if that wasn't also like a precise description of From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's before.
Yeah, yeah. Is it better than From Dusk Till Dawn? From Dusk Till Dawn's pretty good. That's
I
a
like
pretty
From
good
Dusk Till
vampire
Dawn.
movie.
It's completely different
Okay.
in terms of.
Tell me about
so
Near Dark.
deeply serious. It takes itself
And should
so
I watch
seriously. I don't know. It's a very acquired taste. If you like kind of 80s cheese that takes itself very seriously, and
Right.
it's very moody, you might enjoy it. But it's not like it's by Catherine Bigelow.
It's by Catherine Bigelow.
It's her first movie. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought she's from now.
No, she's a vampire.
Oh my
She's
goodness.
been making movies since the dawn of time. No, but
That's
it's
wild.
Yeah.
So she'd made like the Hurt Locker and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So she must have been like an old lady when she made it.
I think she's been around for ages.
Wow.
But this movie's
Me and Luke know a lot about films.
Oh yeah. But I like it because it's not a very talked about vampire movie. I don't know anyone else who's watched this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know many people, so that's something to factor in.
But I don't know anyone.
But for me, it was like very intense because there's a lot of shootouts. It's very like vampires in modern world.
Okay.
There's a lot of shootouts.
Do vampires have guns?
Yeah, they're hillbillies.
Okay. Can't they just like vamp?
They
What
don't
what
seem
does
to-
vamp mean?
What?
What is the word vamp? Like the verb vamp?
To vamp something.
Yeah.
I don't think that is a word. Vamp?
100% vamp is a word.
Really? When do you use that?
I don't know, but I don't think it's the actions that vampires do.
Time to vamp.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure vamping is not. My phone's too far to Google it. Sorry. Anyway, I'm interrupting you. Hillbilly cowboy vampires, and are
Yeah.
there non-vampires, or is everyone a vampire?
No, there's non-vampire. It follows a gang of hillbilly vampires who cause chaos in like I don't know, whenever sort of modern Western times.
Yeah, and it's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah,
It's pretty nice. It's got Bill Paxton in it. He's always a hoot.
nice.
There's a great scene where all the vampires get ambushed by police officers. They've like sunproofed their home, and then they all start shooting at the house, and it's getting sunlight
of light.
holes in it, and it's very intense because they're all like, "Oh shit!" Like they're immune to bullets, but the sunlight is fucking them up. Obviously,
I can't believe this is also. I realize again. You already said this is afterwards. I'm fairly sure that's also exactly a scene in From Dusk Till Dawn. That there's bullets in the thing, and the light starts coming through the bullet holes.
Yeah, now you say it, I've got a memory of that. But this was before Dusk Till Dawn.
You sure you didn't watch From Dusk Till Dawn?
I'm pretty
and
sure.
you're
Anyway,
pretending it's
no. And anyway, then Danny Trejo comes.
Danny Trejo and Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek.
It is Salma Hayek. She's my big Hollywood crush. You know,
Is it?
she's
Is
my
she?
favorite pretty
Favorite
lady.
lady.
I like her a lot.
Is Near Dark? Is that your favorite vampire movie?
It's up there. It feels
Yeah.
like quite different to other vampire movies.
I think I really like the idea of vampire movies, but I don't really know if there are any I'm into.
Maybe it's From Dusk Till Dawn if it was a serious movie.
Okay.
Because you know the way Dusk Till Dawn is very tongue in cheek.
It's
It's
silly.
just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is quite like serious.
Okay.
Although it's also silly because it's the 80s, and the 80s was sort of inherently a silly
all
time.
films were silly in the 80s.
Mm.
Like, I was trying to name,
The Lost.
comically name a very serious film in the 80s, but I don't know when things were made.
People are gonna love this.
What's the most serious movie that came out in the 80s? What a boring question. I watched The Traitors this week.
That's not. Does it have vampires in it?
It doesn't have to be.
But this is
in time.
spooky week.
Yeah, and The Traitors is spooky. They have spooky versions of pop songs
Really?
in it. Yeah.
Okay.
The Traitors has big spooky vibes.
Liars.
Liars, yeah. The Traitors is a TV show which is based on Mafia or Werewolf, the game. And it's a reality show, game show. People are evil, they are traitors, and the good people have to spot who the traitors are. And
what's the twist in season 3?
It's all the same old shit every time. And I love the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing show. It's really good fun. But as you know, I'm obsessed with board games.
You're a board game enthusiast.
I'm a board game guy. Like off shot, there's like 30 board games in this room right now.
You know how like Nosferatu has loads of creepy books and like spells on his walls?
Yeah.
If you were Nosferatu, it'd just be like, oh, it's the Gummy Kingdom board adventure.
Do you want to play Settlers? Oh, and I forgot to do the R roll.
Settlers of Catan.
I can do the R roll, but I need to focus on it. Settlers. Settlers of... To be fair, it's renamed. It's just Catan now.
Your soul to play Catan.
Also, if you're watching this or listening to this and you're a board game fan and you just think that I'm lame because I've brought up Catan, I don't actually like Catan. I'm just using that as a reference for people so people know what I'm talking about.
You snivelling worm. The board game community doesn't strike me as one with nasty intentions.
There's actually scandal in the board game community quite regularly.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, sometimes plagiarism. It's impossible to copyright the rules for a board game.
Mm.
I mean, you can copyright like the art and stuff, but you can just like remake a game with the exact same rules and just like put a different picture on the front, and no one can really do anything.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So people sometimes do things like that, and then people get really stressed out about it.
You could just do like a more popular theme, and then
yeah.
Maybe. So like, I'll do Settlers of Tatooine, Star Wars themed Catan.
You'll have an issue. You don't have the rights for Star Wars, so you can't do that. But yeah, I mean, you could take any one of the many games about like trading in the Mediterranean, or that's basically what they're all about, and make it about anything more interesting.
Why are
people who make board games could please make them about something more interesting than what they are about. Anyway, The Traitors is basically a big board game on TV, and I like it a lot, but I just get very stressed about suboptimal game design. So I'm enjoying it, I'm having a good time, but I'm also like, there is just not the right incentive structure for people to want to find the traitors.
Oh my god!
Because if you find the traitors and eliminate the traitors,
season 4 just crumble about.
They'd vote me off.
The design of the game.
They'd kill me straight away because they'd be like, "This guy's too powerful." Apparently, there was a Australian season of the Traitors where there's this guy who kept just making jokes about like what he thinks the producers are doing instead of like taking the game seriously. He like talks about it from like a meta perspective, and they hated it, so they just cut him out of the show.
The producers did, or the
the only episode he's in is the episode where they get rid of him, where he's like killed. He just like appears, and apparently everyone watching it was just like, "What the fuck? Who's this guy who's apparently been here the whole season and we've never seen him before?" And he's like literally like cut out of like almost every shot in the whole thing.
He just ruined the game.
It's a stupid show because you're trying to find the traitors, but if you find the traitors, then the show can't end early, so they just make new traitors. So there's no reason to find the traitors until the end of the game, until the end of the final episode of the show. So what you should actually do is find the traitors, not vote them out, wait till the end, and then vote them all out then, rather than wait till new traitors come in, and then you'll have less information because you'll have less time because they'll have been traitors for less long. Anyway, if you are working on the show, hit me up and I'll improve the game design significantly. Although the viewership will probably decline because it will have to become more complicated.
Plug. It's like a job interview.
I just need people to know that. But it's still a good show. If you're not as clever as me, you'll probably be able to enjoy it.
Well, there you go.
Without getting stressed.
Someone please
about the
give
game
Sam
design.
a job.
I do actually need a job.
I enjoyed that greatly.
It's good. And the people on it just so thick in a beautiful way.
Oh, yeah.
There is zero information about who's evil on the show. So it's just entirely arbitrary guessing. People just be like, I just don't like that guy. And it's very funny.
But that's the best bit of TV. They must be doing that deliberately, right? Because they got that one clever guy and they got rid of him immediately.
Yeah, they always get rid of the clever people straight away.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
It's a good show. Claudia Winkleman doesn't look like a human being. She looks like an alien. She's the presenter. I feel like each season she's becoming slightly more like a sort of haunted doll.
Like less human.
Less human. I love her and I think she's great. And if she's listening to the pod, then don't be offended by that. But there is something about her that I'm like, that's like, it's like they've done a magic trick for a scarecrow to come to life. She doesn't look like a scarecrow, but she's got something at the end.
Like
anyway,
she's been revived from the dead.
She's been revived from the
Bitten
dead.
by
Like a vampire. What else did you watch this week, Luke?
Well, speaking of modern vampires, I watched the what's his name?
Brian
Johnson documentary. The tech billionaire who's drinking his son's blood.
Yeah. So this is the guy who, tech billionaire who's dedicated his life to living for as long as possible.
Dying. Yes.
Don't die is his
Don't
slogan.
die. It's good
there's
fun.
a documentary about him on Netflix.
Yeah, it's like all the crazy things he does every day.
Yeah.
To stay like he eats so many pills. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But yeah, he's cool. A lot of people give him a lot of shit because I guess he's a millionaire and why not? I think he's just a weird, lonely guy. So it comes across as. He's got loads of money and he's just got to fill his time. So why not become the best human being in the world?
My shameful secret is I quite like him.
Yeah, I like him too.
Like I feel like you're supposed to hate him because obviously he's a billionaire and he's trying to live forever and it's creepy and he looks not like a human.
Yeah, he looks vampiric.
Even less like a human than Claudia Winkleman.
His body looks great though. He's like 45. He looks chiseled Adonis.
But yeah, I mean, he should do. He's supposed to be in like the healthiest man in the world. Is the whole point of him. And his entire life is just like he just doesn't do anything apart from cold baths and eating vitamins. And
I don't know. He gets a lot of injections as well.
Well, yeah, everything
Did you see the thing where they stab his face for ages? And there's a bit where his face is just like covered in blood.
I've not seen the documentary.
Oh, it's great. He gets this facial stimulation thing, which is just tiny needles in his face, like little tattoos with no ink in them. And then you just see his face; it just looks fucked because it's just been stabbed a million times, and the parts of them are bleeding, and you're like, looking good, my guy.
Would you recommend the doc?
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a weirdo. It's a bit long. It's like an hour and a half. Could have been an hour, but I don't know. It's just nice to be like, look at this weirdo doing his thing. And he seems kind of sweet.
Did it make you be like, oh, I should do all those things?
No,
I should eat nutty pudding every day. That's one of the things he eats, right?
I don't want to eat nutty pudding.
My issue with all the kind of modern health stuff is I'm sort of all or nothing. So I find it quite hard to like be a bit healthy. I'm like, either I want to totally optimize what I'm doing and eat like the healthiest diet possible, which I do. I'm going to say like 2% of the time.
Wait, so you would become Brian Johnson?
The rest of the time, well, we'll wait till I finish. And then the rest of the time, I can't be bothered. And I'm like, well, if I'm not perfectly optimizing my health, I might as well just eat 4 KFCs a day. And so I just eat shit and I'm just totally out of shape.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. But it's because I can't. People who are like, yeah, I eat some greens and, I'll have a treat now and again. And like,
you're like,
I'm saying that in a mocking way when that's just like a sort of normal good thing to be doing.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I'm eating KFC or I'm getting facial injections to extend my life to maximum capacity.
You're an extreme man.
Yeah. Are you healthy?
I think I am reasonably healthy.
You're too skinny, aren't you?
Shut up.
I don't know if you're supposed to say that. I thought you said you were trying to gain weight.
Body shaming me.
Imagine that, listeners. He's trying to gain weight.
I am naturally very skinny.
Yeah. God.
But I've got a healthy
One of the most irritating sentences in the world. I'm naturally so skinny.
I am naturally skinny.
Yeah.
I could have I could be one of those skinny fat guys.
Yeah.
I've got secret fat around my organs and I'm going to die really young. Potentially.
Well, do you not know, have I not told you this, what happened to me? When I went to the gym a few years ago and they had this fancy machine that sent electrical signals through your body and told you your body composition. And I was skinnier than I am now and in slightly better shape, and I was like, this is gonna be such a good confidence boost. It's gonna be like, hey, you're cool and ripped, and you're doing great.
You
Keep
don't
doing
need
what
to
you're
be
doing.
here, guy. Get out
Yeah.
of here. Go
What are you
live your
even
life.
doing? Yeah. That's what I thought it was gonna do. It was gonna say, get out of here, dude.
What a weird voice to put on the computer.
So I stepped on it, and I had to hold these things and put in all these like measurements, and it whizzed and it booped. And at the end, it gave me my like personalized description of my body and my body type.
Yeah.
And the result was hidden obese.
But it probably says that for everyone who comes in. That if I ran a gym, I'd be like, anyone skinny, I'd be like, put them on the machine and just tell them they're fat fucks.
But it had measurements to back it up. It was like your amount of visible fat is quite low, but the amount of fat around your sort of organs and heart much higher than it should be. So yeah,
you were skinny.
That's a bit of a bummer.
You were skinny fat.
Skinny fat, yeah. That's a sort of hip thing that people say.
Yeah.
But what I don't even know what skinny fat really means. What
exactly what you described.
Okay.
You're skinny, but on the inside you're fat. You've got all the health
fat on the inside.
Disadvantages of a larger person, but you're skinny.
But at least I'm hot.
I think you're a very handsome young man.
Thank you, Luke. I'm going to die of heart disease next year, but at least
I'm only being nice to you because I don't want to put stress on the old ticker.
Yeah, fucking hell. I did have to go to the doctor because my heartbeat was too fast.
Well, that's a good thing, no? Get that blood around you quick.
No, I'd like go around for a block round a walk. I'd go for a block round a walk, and my heartbeat would be like 200. I'm having a stroke now.
That'd be incredible. Imagine you died on the pod. That'd be crazy.
That would be good. It would be good publicity. I don't know why I tried to do a pun. I tried to. That's my second pun I've tried to do. Nosferatu.
Yeah,
I don't do or like puns.
You've done quite a lot, so I think you do.
I was going to talk about one more thing, and then we can talk about the proper film.
Mm-hmm.
The proper film. I went to see Nickel Boys.
Which
is a new film.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you wanted to watch 2.5 hours of ASMR about racism?
Oh. Maybe I do.
I wasn't expecting that response.
That's quite interesting.
Don't sound titillated by the idea of racism.
Well, you're the one who went to see the weird ASMR movie about racism.
I mean, people who've seen the movie can be like, what are you talking about even?
Yes.
Yeah, I went to go and see a film that was anti-racist. It's not. Okay, right. I'm going to cut that bit. It's Nickel Boys is a movie by Ramel. I can't write down the director's name. I can't read it. Ramel Ross, possibly. It's a new movie about two young boys who go to like a youth detention camp, which is highly abusive.
Oh.
And they're young black boys, and it's an all black camp in America. And the entire
all the staff are black.
No. A lot of the staff are white and horrible.
Oh, okay.
And the boys are like, I don't know how old they are, like 16 or whatever. And it's all shot in the first person, like Peep Show, but through the eyes of the two boys. Constantly. The entire movie is shot like that.
Like a first-person shooter.
Like a first-person shooter, but with no visible gun.
Oh, no HUD?
No HUD or... Yeah, the screen doesn't go red at the sides when they're hit. Yeah. But it kind of starts with one of the boys being young, and it starts with the boy like lying down and twisting and crinkling like a leaf in the garden.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Just like seeing the world around him. A lot of the movie, especially in the early half, feels almost more like a montage than a movie of just like moments that this boy is seeing. And a lot of the sound effects are very like loud and evocative, and it gives this kind of ASMR intimacy to the whole thing.
You don't get. Do you get their inner monologues as well?
No, you don't get their inner monologues. You just see what they see. No, it's not.
So I thought that would be kind of inappropriate for something as heavy as racism.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be nearly as good if it had a voice
Bloody
going.
hell, Jeremy! You can't say that in public.
Yeah. I think they've removed from the internet the episode of Peep Show where Jeremy blacks up.
Have they?
I think
so.
Oh,
his girlfriend makes him do it.
I don't know. I can't actually remember because I rewatched it recently, and that wasn't on
taboo.
It wasn't. That one didn't come up on Netflix. The movie is very good. It's heartbreaking. Obviously, it's based on a book by Colson Whitehead, a novel by Colson Whitehead, which was itself based on a true story. So the characters from the movie, I don't think are based
on... Colson Whitehead have a white head?
Did Colson Whitehead have a white head?
Was he a white man?
Colson Whitehead is one of the most famous living black writers in America, in the world.
We've got some more editing to do.
I'm not editing any of that out.
What? Why? Why do we only edit out your embarrassing?
Because just don't say things. Just don't say horrible things.
I'm trying to add levity to the heavy themed podcast.
I don't know what I was talking about. It's a really good movie, but like every movie in the world, it is too long. And I'm adding a new section into this podcast, which is the was I bored criteria of every film that I watch, because I'm finding that even films that I really like, quite often they're too long and I get bored. And this movie was brilliant. I loved it, but I was also bored multiple times. So
how long was the runtime?
2 hours 20. I think the same as Nosferatu.
No, Nosferatu was 2 hours.
Is it?
It's 2
okay. Hours. So yeah, Nickel Boy's great, beautiful, unlike anything I've ever watched. Heartbreaking, evocative,
snooze fest,
lovely, but just a couple little bit boring every now and then.
But this is tough because you have quite severe ADHD.
I have quite severe ADHD.
We should give that as the ADHD review podcast.
I just think what they should do is show me the film before they release it, and I'll press a button each time I'm bored, and they just get rid of the bits where I press the button. I think that's a thing. That's a thing they do. They actually do that. There's they give people, when they do like test watches for movies, they give them dials, and you're supposed to move the dial in real time for like how engaged you are in the movie.
Oh, but you have to what? No, I would do
as
that
you're watching
so
the
wrong.
movie, you're like, oh, I like this bit. This is exciting. I'm excited. No, I'm bored. I'm bored.
I'd be so bad at that. I find that so stressful.
Yeah,
I'd keep forgetting which side is bored and stimulated.
It'd be quite easy to be like, the right is good, the left is bad.
No, I'll forget that. I'll forget that. Because I can't be like halfway through the movie, like, can I just remind me which...
Yeah. So, Luke, you really loved the credits.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Nickel Boys is lovely. It probably will win lots of awards and stuff.
Recommend.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I mean, it's like...
It's a true story, the book, or is it?
The book's a novel, but it's based on... So the camp in the film is called Camp Nickel or Nickel Camp, and the camp in real life was called something else. But it's, based on this place where these, like, youths were abused and killed and all these horrible things. And, pretty bleak and sad and horrible. But if you are in the mood for something bleak and sad and horrible, then... I mean, it is also about friendship and getting through tough situations. And I'm, to be honest, I'm being sort of more glib about it than I should do because I thought it was lovely. But I wouldn't be like, you must rush out and see it. But you it's nice.
Beautiful.
I keep being like, I want to stop just like concluding my movie reviews with just like, it's good
It
or
was
it
nice.
is okay.
It's almost like we're discovering that reviewing movies is quite difficult.
No, it's really easy. I just need to stop talking. I just get to a sentence and I haven't like done the intonation of it being the end. So I'm like, I need to add something else.
You also add this at the end, which I don't think is helpful. You go. I think you should stop doing that noise.
Well, could we have this conversation off air?
I actually personally quite enjoy the noise.
You like the
But
noise?
for the objectives you are trying to achieve, I feel like you want to remove the noise.
Yeah, I feel like the noise shows a lack of confidence in the thing I've said. Oh, thank you. Luke just put his hand on my shoulder.
You're a great man.
Thank you. Shall we talk about the main film of the day?
Let's go.
Can we get away with doing the voice for the whole rest of the recording?
I think the public need it. Am I
You
right?
you can't not do it Japanese now.
What? That was not a Japanese.
Okay. No more of the voice. We saw Nosferatu, the new Robert Eggers film.
It was spooky.
Who's made The Vovitch, which I saw and liked.
So spooky.
The Lighthouse, which I saw and
Weird and spooky.
was bored by.
Really?
And The Northman, which I didn't see. Okay. Okay, Luke, do you want to do the voice one last time and it'll be your last time?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good.
It's out of my system.
So, yeah, it's based on the 1922 Nosferatu movie, which...
and Bram Stoker's Dracula, the novel.
Well, yes. So, Nosferatu in
pays tribute to
1922 came out, and it was called Nosferatu because they wanted to rip off the Dracula book, but they couldn't get the rights. And Bram Stoker's estate ordered that all the 1922 copies be destroyed.
Brutal.
But some remained in secret, and now it's become a classic that Luke couldn't sit through more than 15 minutes of.
You could say they you can't kill what is already dead.
Yeah.
Am I right?
That's good. It's relevant to the thing we're talking about.
That was pretty good.
And
But yeah, I really couldn't get through it. Sorry.
The 1922 one.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it though. I will.
Okay.
I was not in the right mood.
Well, now, Luke, there's a new version of Nosferatu you can watch with all the modern things what movies have.
Yeah, this one was a lot easier to watch.
Did you get through it? And tell us, what did you think of the film?
I got right to the end. I thought it was a bunch of fun.
You thought it was a bunch of fun?
I thought it was a bunch of fun. I felt watching it the same way I felt watching It, the new It. Did you watch the new It?
Really?
The
Okay.
Stephen King It?
Yeah, I've seen the new It.
Like, it's not scary, but it's pretty entertaining. It's silly.
Right.
Takes itself very seriously, which I kind of appreciate.
Is it silly and it takes itself very seriously not a contradiction?
Well, no, but it's like silly topic, isn't it? But it takes the silly topic seriously. Vampires are inherently silly.
It's a silly topic. Vampires. Well, yeah, it's a silly topic.
Yeah, but it takes itself seriously.
Okay. But you
like,
had...
Nosferatu's so over the top. And there's so many jump scares where he's just like, ah, and then he grabs him by the neck. He's like, ah, and everyone's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Is that what they're like?
That's how jump scares feel. You're always like, oh, fuck's sake.
I didn't really notice many jump scares
There's
in the
loads
film.
of jump scares in this movie.
Really?
What about the first bit where she's like outside, like, oh, I'm being possessed. Ah. And then he's like, I'm choking you. And everyone was like, oh.
Yeah. I don't remember jumping at it massively. But okay, so you...
But I thought, okay, my summary, I thought it looked fantastic. Really genuinely thought it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought all the performances were very good. I thought everyone was pretty excellent in this film. I thought it was very funny in some places. I think unintentionally.
Right.
But I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I had fun.
Okay.
What did you think about the movie?
So I've been trying to sort of figure out my thoughts on it. what I've kind of come up with is I think I like my horror movies, because it's a horror movie, right? To be like one of two things. Either like silly and fun, like a silly fun romp,
like,
right? So I think it probably counts as that somewhat, or those new movies like Smile, or even like M3 Gan. You know M3 Gan?
I didn't see M3
Megan.
Gan.
I mean, it's
Megan.
I don't actually think it's that good, but like that. Or I want my horror movies to be like properly scary, like like bone chilling. So that would be like Hereditary or The Shining. And then there's movies that like span both. Like I think Barbarian is like, it does a really good job of being like a silly fun romp and also like genuinely chilling and scary.
Yeah, because I guess this was quite artsy, wasn't it? But
and
not. It wasn't scary.
Yeah, so I enjoyed Nosferatu a lot less than I expected to.
Oh, interesting.
I basically Sam's boardometer was really seeing a fair bit of movement during this film.
When did your boardometer start spiking?
I basically, so you're right, the film takes itself very seriously, right? There is not the only real moments of levity, and again, I don't know what was intentional, but the only real moments of levity was Willem Dafoe's character. Willem Dafoe turns up halfway through the movie.
I've seen things that would make Isaac Newton crawl back into his mother's womb.
Yeah, and he's great.
Did your cinema all die laughing watching that?
No, you know what? There was very little reaction to kind of any of the movie from my cinema.
My cinema was cracking up. I think 3 times the cinema laughed.
Were you in a picture house?
I was in Brixton Ritzy.
Okay, so you were in a posh cinema. I was in like a dirty old View cinema, and I think all the middle class people were probably going at the Willem Dafoe thing, whereas all the people at my dirty local View were just going like, "What the fuck is this?" So yeah, there's some kind of the only sort of real intentional humor I think is kind of the weirdness of Willem Dafoe, but I didn't find it that funny, and it was a bit of a kind of weird contrast to everything else. And the rest of the movie, it takes itself very seriously. It crawls along fairly slowly, I think. I love the design of Dracula. Of not even Dracula, he's not called Dracula, of Count Orlok.
Yeah, he's really gross.
He's a rotting corpse. Yeah, which I think is.
I'm sick of these good-looking vampires.
Yeah.
Good-looking vampires. It's nice to some ugly old fuck to get a chance.
Have him be really gross and disgusting. And I think that was good. And he does this thing where he kind of moves around. He just sort of disappears and reappears in different places, and you don't know what's like a dream and what's real and what's him mind controlling you, and it's all very kind of cool. Like it looks good and is kind of hypnotic and interesting, but it's not really scary because you don't really believe that the person is like in any threat for most of the movie. Like there's I'll go more into it in spoilers. Like there are people who are in threat at some points, but there's not like many points like I would want in a horror movie where I'm going. There weren't huge moments of tension for me, and also it feels like the rules of the vampire aren't really explained. He's just this kind of otherworldly figure who can sort of fucking do anything, but also can't.
I mean, with that one, I'll say that is like almost the sin that every vampire movie, or so many vampire movies make, where you're like, I need to know the rules before going in here, because I can't. You're right, because it removes any tension, because you're just like, well, what are they trying to achieve? Yeah. Where's this going?
Good horror movies, and I guess good like fantasy, sci-fi like movies like that work best when you know the rules, or the rules are revealed in a like slow way that makes sense.
I would say this is more like a sort of romance adventure action movie that has really strong horror elements to it, rather than being like Because I think a horror movie is very scary when you don't know what's going on, right? There's that fear of like the unknown, like something like Evil Dead, which is a comedy horror movie, the original too, but they're genuinely so disturbing because it's very, you have no idea what's happening, and you just feel like it really has such a strong feeling of demonic forces fucking around with you just because they're like evil and like think it's hilarious.
Exactly.
Whereas this has this element of you've got 4 people trying to hunt down someone. They have a clear objective to try and kill Dracula, and you have no idea how to do that, why, or until like maybe the final 15 minutes of the movie.
Exactly. And Evil Dead is not, no one's watching Evil Dead and going, I didn't know that the horrible book could do that, actually.
No, because
it's just mad but that's fun, and you're having a really good time.
And that's written into it, whereas this is not quite.
Whereas this is like...
It can't get away with that.
Slow and brooding.
Yeah. And
it looks kind of cool, but also like it's basically all entirely black and white. I found it...
I didn't mind that. I thought the darkness of it was actually pretty cool because it's got that like weird bluey. You know when you go outside and it's all moonlight and it's like everything is pitch black, all blue.
Yeah,
I thought it looked so good from that perspective.
Yeah, that's fair. The visuals were really effective. There's a lot to like about the movie, but I just think storytelling didn't work for me. Like you described, you were like, well, maybe it's not a horror, maybe it's like a romance adventure action movie, except there's not really any romance, there's not really much adventure, and there's very few action sequences. Like most of the movie is just vibes, and sometimes that's okay if the vibes are like out of this world crazy cool, and I'm sure if you are a huge vampire fan, then you'll probably love it. But the vibes did not sell the movie enough. It wasn't enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't strike me as something that is going to be beloved. I think a lot of critics will like it for quite specific techie reasons.
I mean, it's got really good critical and audience reviews. I've not checked super recently, but I think it's like highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes and on IMDb. And I don't blame people for that. It's not like the performances are great, it looks great, it feels original, but clearly is like interested in like preserving the original ideas from the 1922 movie in the book. So yeah, I'm not like it's crap, but it's it was just
it didn't do much for you.
I'd rather watch Let the Right One In. That's a vampire. I just remember
that's an arty vampire movie.
It's an arty vampire movie, and that one has some rules. That's what I like. That's why I like board games, and it's why I like films. I want there to be rules that everybody follows. He doesn't turn into a bat.
I like that. I feel like it's going to be a very highly memed movie.
Yeah.
Can we get into spoilers so I can talk about one thing?
We're getting into spoilers so overall, I'd say if you want to go and see it, you won't have a terrible time, but I was disappointed.
Yeah.
And I feel like you came in being like it's great, and yet now you're agreeing with all of my
agree
negative.
with all the things you said, but I went in with very low expectations.
Oh, did you? I went in with high expectations.
Did you? Well, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I had a good time watching it. I wouldn't have been like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. But I left being like, that was fun.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I had fun. There's fun bits for sure.
Yeah.
Like when the guy's like there was laughter in my audience, but it was like bemused, like what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, that was a bit in my one. But I don't know, I kind of appreciated that was part of the fun.
Do you know the bit I'm talking about where I go, he's like
the crazy man.
The crazy man.
The naked crazy man.
Naked crazy man.
Who likes eating pigeons.
Okay, we're now in spoilers.
Oh god, that narratively relevant pigeon.
I mean, it's a pretty wild moment.
Yeah, I guess.
When he fully...
I'm sorry, guys.
I expected...
I'm sorry. It's in the trailer.
Yeah, I don't watch trailers.
Oh, well, it is in the trailer.
Well,
he shoves that thing in his mouth, and if you were like expecting him to not eat it, I'd be like, why is that man sucking on a pigeon?
It's really... that was a great moment. And it is... I really love in films when you see something like that and you go, oh, I have never seen that in a film before. Someone bite the head off a live pigeon.
Ozzy Osbourning a pigeon.
Yeah, these moments where your brain just goes, oh, this is a new thing.
Hollywood,
this
a
is
new
new information
low.
I'm taking in. Yeah.
There was also some bits where it felt... It did sort of veer into like silliness, but not quite enough. Like, you know, when he's got the shadowy hand and it's like going over the city.
Okay,
and all that was going through my head was like the Beetlejuice soundtrack. Which I don't know. Do you reckon the movie would have benefited more from being silly?
I think it had the potential to be properly frightening. Like, the Count Orlok character is obviously ridiculous, but also kind of disgusting and terrifying. But it just, because it doesn't really seem to follow like any logic, and things like Nicholas Hoult escapes from the castle, even though the vampire easily could have just killed him, and I'm like, well, why is he let him escape then? I don't know. It felt like, I think partly what it is it felt kind of like a fairy tale, right? It didn't feel like things were happening because this would be like the next logical thing to happen in the plot. It felt like an old fable brought to life.
That's a good way to put it, because I watched an interview with Eggers, and he was saying it was all...
Bloody Eggers.
Bloody Eggers.
Me and Eggers were...
Bloody Egghead.
You should have seen Eggers down at the rugby club.
I don't like it. I
don't
like it's like made in Chelsea.
Eggers.
Bloody Eggers coming. You only guess what bloody Eggers has done to Nosferatu.
He sounds like... If you meet someone who's like went to Eton, my best mate Eggers, he's a bloody nightmare.
Eggers is a bloody riot.
Sorry, what was Eggers saying in the interview?
He was saying that he was like, I really wanted to make a vampire movie told from the sort of female perspective.
Yeah,
like, so there was the hero was a female rather than, you know, like Van Helsing or like the Slayer or whoever. I didn't get any of that from the movie. Like, I didn't get that Lily Rose Depp was the main character. I was like, she's a significant character, but the first half is Nicholas Holt's like worst sleepover ever.
Let's just
have
he's
getting you know, like sucked off by Dracula and stuff.
And
then she sort of, you know, and then it's William Dafoe show for like the next third, and then he just finds a book in the Crazy Man Singer's like, this seems about right, how to destroy Dracula.
I also heard about, I can't let you get away with saying William Dafoe, but I'm just noting that for the audience.
What do you call him?
His name, Willem
Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, yeah.
Well, that's a stupid name.
But yeah, I also heard that it wanted to be like more sort of centered around the female perspective and empowering and stuff, which I didn't particularly work for me. Like Johnny Depp's daughter just spends a lot of the time going,
he's coming.
And it is horrifying, right?
I thought she does a good job of the crazy. The bit where I thought she did a good job of the like, well, I'm a crazy possessed lady. But that bit felt very Evil Dead to me. You know, the bit where he's taunting Nicholas Holt's character, being like, "You could never fuck me," and then he's like, "I'll show you."
Yeah, all very Exorcist even.
Yeah. That bit of the movie I quite liked. I thought that was
fun. She was good. I thought the final shot was very cool of dead Dracula lying on dead, just nudie Lily Rose Depp.
Spunked his load on.
Yeah. But also the climax made no sense to me, no pun intended.
Yeah.
That it was like, okay, I'm just going to fuck what's her name to death and then not close the curtains and die myself.
It's so he's just also, it's like, because he looks out the window, he's like, it's almost daylight, and she's just like, come on, and he's like, oh, fine, I guess this is how I die.
Just about someone being so horny. But yeah, see, that's the thing, right? If that had been done in a kind of self-aware way, maybe that would have been hilarious or whatever.
I feel like William Dafoe is the only guy having so much fun in this movie.
You're gonna keep calling him William?
I'm gonna keep calling him William. I've made a bed. I'm gonna stay in my bed.
Oh my god.
Fine, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's his name.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Willem, I'm sorry.
What are you saying?
I feel like he's having so much fun in this movie, and everyone else is like, we're making art.
Yeah. And he's having fun, and the guy who eats the head off the pigeon is having fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't tonally mesh particularly for me. And I don't know how much of this I'm just criticizing what the original Nosferatu is, but you know, if that was bad, then you should have fixed what was bad about it. Like the kind of the archetype of like the mad genius scientist who is clearly a nutter, but clearly is the only person who understands, and blah blah blah. I don't know. It just, like, I've just seen it before, and it's not very interesting to me. Like it's fun seeing Willem Dafoe be a nutter and have fun and be a great actor because he's good. I'm not going to complain about it, but I don't know if it again worked for me massively in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be
not to be a bum out, Luke.
To
be a spoil sport.
Well, you are being a spoil sport, really, but that's we're a highbrow critical podcast, so
yeah,
let's have it.
Do you consider yourself highbrow?
No, not really. Given that I can't pronounce Willem,
I think lots of people can't.
I didn't even know that was his name. I've always thought he's William.
Yeah.
Have you seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, the 90s movie?
No. Is it good?
I'd say it's so similar to... I'd say it's the most similar to this one.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I think it's probably got a lot of the same things you critiqued about this one is probably relevant to that one as well. But with a 90s flair to it.
I think if I knew the story really well and I cared about the story a lot and I was interested in seeing it looking really good with like a really gross Dracula, and I was just like interested in seeing it redone in a cool way, I'd probably watch this and be like, this is wicked, the performances are great and it looks great and it's creepy and whatever. But as someone who's not I don't not like Dracula, but it's not a story that I particularly know or care about or have attachments to. If I'm just judging it as a movie in its own right, I think it's a little on the dull side. Yeah,
I think that's fair. So I used to watch the Bram Stoker one when I was a little wee boy, so this has a bit of nostalgia value to me.
Yeah.
Also, I think as far as I understand, the original book is like a metaphor about sexual desires and shame and beastly instincts and stuff. So it's not really meant to be literally put on the screen.
I think films are allowed to be metaphors as well, Luke.
No, but I mean in terms of it, like it being a narrative.
Yeah. You think the narrative is not necessarily supposed to work in its own right?
Well, I don't know. It's always there's always a rub there, isn't there?
This is what I'm
making a point versus like telling a good story.
This is what I'm talking about earlier. It should be a good film and then have secrets for clever people. And if it doesn't work, if it only works in its secrets for clever people layer, then it would receive a thumbs down from the Fleapit podcast.
We'll take that. Oh, you're saying thumbs down for both of us?
Yeah, well, I'm
saying thumb in the middle.
I'm obviously the main one.
Turn this off now. I'm going to fight
You're my co-host.
I will fight you.
Don't punch the mic and make it sound bad. No, it's fine. You can be the main one next week, and I'll have the week off.
I hate you. I'm gonna kill you. Why did I agree to do this with you?
All right, we done. Ciao.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Wait, did I have a point? I might have written down a point.
Okay, fine. Not ciao.
Oh, this is the only thing. I did like all the really bad Victorian horny medicine that they put in.
Can you say that, but not like doing that?
I liked all the really bad horny Victorian medicine they tried to use.
Right.
You know, where she's like having a fit and they're like, have you tried putting her in a corset?
Oh, yeah.
Or why don't you tie her down and spank her bottom and see if she stops?
Yeah.
Such a hilarious like through line throughout the whole movie.
When Aaron Taylor Johnson, his character's looking after Nicholas Holt's boo when he's off in Transylvania, and she's just being a fucking pain in the neck, and he's like, for fuck's sake, can we get some leeches on this bitch? Or something.
It's so good. I enjoyed that very much. Victorian sort of uppityness, but combined with its insane horniness. It's so good. I also found it funny. Why did he bite their chest? What was the change in that about?
So he bites the chest instead of the neck.
I hope that wasn't Bill Skarsgård's idea, because if it was, then
why do you think it would be Bill Skarsgård's idea?
Because then he gets to, chomp on Lily Rose Depp's tits in the last scene.
I'm pretty sure Eggers wasn't like, Bill, bite where you want to bite and we'll roll with it.
It's Hollywood. Hollywood loves that sort of stuff.
Come on, Eggers, bloody hell.
Come on, Eggers.
Let me have a bite. Next bloody old news. I actually quite like the chest biting. Like, you think of the neck as being obviously like the most sort of sensitive, vulnerable place, but there was something kind of extra, kind of sexy, creepy, gross about the chest bite.
I do also like, from a medical perspective, I'm also like, if you bit someone's jugular, and then you would like for sure kill them.
Right.
Like, you couldn't be like, I'll come for a nibble later.
Yeah.
You'd be like, they're bleeding so much.
Isn't he basically biting their actual heart?
Oh, yeah, but he's, I don't know, but he's sort of...
I touched my right side. We're both touching the right side.
Oh, we're idiots.
Maybe, no. I don't know my left and rights. I was just trying to work out which side he's biting on. Yeah, I quite like the biting.
Yeah. It did sound like he's drinking a lot, doesn't it? He's really...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was quite fun.
So, yeah, you could
was
either pop to the
great,
cinema
amazing,
and watch ASMR about black suffering, or you can watch ASMR about white suffering. Those are your two options.
Dead, yeah.
You can either have slurpy or learn about our bad past.
It's time to go. Let's get out.
You should have let me end when I said ciao before.
Sorry.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
It's so lovely to see you, as always.